you're here because you feel like stress might be making your acne worse, but you aren't entirely sure, right? You feel like maybe your acne gets a little bit more inflamed or angry when you're stressed out, but you aren't sure what to do about it, and I hear you. Today, I'm gonna share 5 action steps you can take to naturally lower your stress levels, literal action steps, plus share 3 booster foods that I love that help support lowering of stress levels, stress hormones in your body naturally. So let's discuss. Hi there, my name is Therese, and after 15 years of acne struggles, I finally cleared my skin naturally, and I created my acne clearing program, The Clear Code, to help you do the same. 10 years and thousands of clients later, I've made it my life's work to get you clear skin without harsh chemicals, pills, and/or creams. So make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video. First things first, I want you to know, stress will not cause your acne alone. I was stressed out yesterday, and I do not have acne. So please know that. Stress alone won't cause your acne. Now, that being said, stress can be the straw that breaks the camel's back in terms of your acne. And so let's talk about why that is so that you can understand the action steps that we're gonna take to help you not be as stressed. Long story short is that when you are stressed out, your body releases stress chemicals like adrenaline, epinephrine, cortisol, and those stress hormones may cause an increase in sebum levels at the pore, which can lead to breakouts. There are 4 conditions that you need at your pore to break out. You need too many skin cells, too much oil, skin cells aren't sloughing off, and then P. acnes gets into the pore and causes a breakout. That's why you have acne in the first place, right? And so when you add in heightened levels of stress to that experience, or heightened levels of stress to that situation, you end up causing this massive increase in the challenges at the pore from an oil perspective. You have an increase of sebum, which is one of the kind of conditions you need at the pore to cause a breakout. So it's like stress equals acne in your mind. But in fact, it's actually 4 conditions at the pore, add stress on to this whole kind of perfect storm, and then you break out. Does that make sense? So first things first, again, just so you understand why we're taking the action steps that we're taking, I want to discuss how the adrenals impact your stress and your stress levels, how these adrenal glands impact your skin. Our adrenal glands are the glands that support this process, that basically initiate the fight or flight response in our body. And they send out a lot of chemical messengers, right? Which impacts epinephrine, cortisol, adrenaline, all of these hormones. And so a lot of our action steps that are anti-stress are related to supporting the adrenal glands in the best way. When and if these adrenal hormones are out of balance or not feeling great, they disturb the balance of all of the other hormones. Again, so like insulin, thyroid stuff, reproduction, all of your hormones, neurotransmitters. Stress really does impact us on a physiological level in a huge way. So how does stress directly relate to your acne besides the oil challenges? Because there's also inflammation, blood sugar management, insulin, glucose. There are a bunch of different ways. So let's say, for example, you have a really big presentation tomorrow and you are super stressed out about having a breakout and it's all you can think about. And I knew I used to do that. It was really fun. And so you're up all night thinking about it, you're stressed, you're releasing epinephrine, cortisol, adrenaline into your bloodstream, right? And then what happens when you do that, you also have a release of glucose most likely into your bloodstream. It's your body's fight or flight response, which then raises your blood sugar level, which can then raise your insulin levels, which we don't really want too much of that throughout the day. You want balanced blood sugar levels, okay? Your blood sugar is always going to fluctuate. You're going to be lower in periods of fasting. It's going to be higher in periods of high foods, but you always want a strong insulin response to your blood sugar management challenges and/or blood sugar management increases, I should say. You want your insulin to be released from your pancreas. That's what a working body is doing. But what happens is over time, when we're in chronic stress, chronic fight or flight, not only do we have elevated levels of these hormones, adrenaline, epinephrine, cortisol, but we also have elevated glucose levels, so blood glucose levels, which then leads to elevated levels of insulin, which then leads to elevated levels of this other hormone called insulin growth factor 1, which contributes to breakouts at the pore because it increases skin cells at the pore. So remember at the beginning, I was talking about how we have those 4 conditions at the pore. Too many skin cells, too much oil, skin cells don't slough off the way they should, and then P. acnes gets in. Not only is stress stuff, stressing, right? Sorry, my nose is itching. Not only is stress impacting the oil levels. But now you can see via blood sugar, insulin growth factor 1, how it's starting to impact skin cell growth at the pore and kind of an increased amount of skin cells at the pore. So it's kind of like this double whammy perfect storm for you when you're stressed out. Let's say you already have those conditions at the pore, and then you add in a lot of chronic stress, it like doubles the problems for you. And then what happens too, let me know if you have cravings in the comments. This is so common. When and if we're stressed out, we are going to be more likely to be low in specific vitamins and minerals. Let's say you're stressed out and you're sweating a lot, for example. You might be low in potassium, magnesium, vitamin A, zinc, etc. And or you might be craving glucose. So how many of us, when we're super stressed, we just want sugar? It's literally like a dopamine hit to the brain, right? And so because we're stressed, we might be dehydrated or just low on certain vitamins, minerals, electrolytes. And then we're craving sugar and salt because our body wants the glucose to energize us to fight or flight the response, right? And or our body needs the electrolytes. And then we don't give it to that. We don't give it to our body. We give it like Oreos instead, which, let me be clear, are delicious. But it like temporarily fixes the problem, but then continues down this pathway, right? So you can see how this becomes like the perfect storm of misery for your skin. So that being said, oh my, I could talk for years about my stress management stuff because I'm definitely not perfect and it's not gonna get fixed overnight. So keep that in mind. You will not be able to fix all of your stress problems with just this video, but if you take action on these 5 action steps, and then I'm gonna share what I do to support my stress management stuff, it will absolutely support you to start to balance out your days a little bit more, okay? First things first, you want to have a solid amount of protein at every meal and or snack. Protein or fat, let's say. Proteins are essential. They are the cornerstone upon which all hormones, neurotransmitters, enzymes, all of the things are built. And so many of us are deficient in quality protein. And so when I say protein, I mean something like chicken, eggs, lentils, salmon, cottage cheese. If you know dairy doesn't bother your skin, you can grab that type of protein again. Chicken, salmon, beef, high quality beef. All of those types of protein are going to support you tremendously. And the other types, I'm trying to think of like lower quality protein. I guess there really isn't low quality protein necessarily. The second action step is to make sure you have healthy fats. So I added it on the first one, but we'll talk about a little bit more now why. Healthy fats help to blunt your blood sugar rise. In a similar way as protein, they help fill you up, satiate you, and they really support overall blood sugar management. Healthy fats support me so much. One of my root acne triggers is actually blood sugar management. I'm definitely predisposed to diabetes. There's a ton of it in my family. Children of diabetic parents are actually 40% more likely to develop it, believe it or not. And so having healthy fats in almost everything I eat is a really, really great way to blunt your blood sugar rise. Basically, if and when you grab something like an avocado or nuts with a carbohydrate or a simple sugar, your blood sugar will not spike the same way as if you just have that sugary thing by itself, which will inadvertently balance you out. Think about it like this, like, you know, when little kids are given a ton of sugar and they get the zoomies throughout the house, and then about 30 to 45 minutes later, they're passed out somewhere asleep. And then they wake up and they're groggy and they're tired. It's kind of like that versus when you give them some almonds and half an apple. They don't have that big skyrocket. They don't have that big fall, right? So that's for all of us into adulthood. We just manifest it differently. Our zoomies look different than a 2-year-old's, but you know what I mean. Third action step to manage your stress levels are, and I know, because I have lived in New York City for 16 years and I'm on the go. I'm an on the go gal. Do not have coffee on an empty stomach. Make sure you're having it with food. This action step is going to be so important. When and if you start your day on a ton of coffee with nothing to blunt that blood sugar rise, you just like go for it. Then you don't eat for, let's say, 4 to 6 hours. You are literally running on fumes, and as a result, your body will release blood sugar into your, our body stores glucose. And when and if we're fasting or we're hungry or we're stressed, our body will release it quickly to give us the fuel that we need. And you don't really want a negative amount, or you don't really want that blood sugar response in a negative, stressful way. Like obviously, if you need to fight or flight from a situation, or if you're working out, it's a great thing that your body releases glucose that way. But if you're doing that every morning, jumping up out of bed, brewing your coffee, avoiding eating until 12 or 1 p.m., by then you're starving. You're like jittery, right? We've all gotten those jitters. You're gonna grab something that's not great for you because now all your body can think is glucose, glucose, glucose. Our brain uses so much glucose. It's gonna want to grab as much sugar as possible. You're not gonna get the grilled chicken with a side of avocado and sweet potato fries lunch. You're just not. You're gonna grab pizza or pasta because your body needs those carbohydrates. Having breakfast within an hour of waking and having coffee with food in the morning is a super fundamental action step that will absolutely support you to manage your stress levels in the long term. You won't notice it tomorrow, but in 2 weeks, you'll be like, I feel calm. And it'll be because you've slowly balanced your blood sugar levels throughout the week. The fourth action step is to create a routine. Now, I know you just groaned and you're like, oh, a routine. That's what I think sometimes when I hear simplified pieces of advice, but I'm serious. Our body and our mind and our soul, they crave and desire the expected. If and when you are working on a schedule or running through your days in a kind of scattered way, it creates a lot of unknown variables for your brain. And as a result, it can lead to more stress. Really simply, your brain loves to know when it's going to bed. It loves to know when it's waking up. It loves to have these kind of natural circadian rhythms, sleep cycles and wake cycles. It really enjoys that. It's good for it. And so defining that routine for you is key. And the reason I say for you is because some people are night owls. Some people are early birds. I'm a 5 a.m. gal, asleep by 9. It's just how I am. I cannot do work after a certain point at night. My brain starts to turn off. And other people are completely different. You have to know the routine for you though. Action step number 5 is kind of simple and you have heard it before. And that's to work out 4 to 5 times a week. And now hear me out before you're like, oh. Working out 4 to 5 times a week can help to eliminate circulating levels of cortisol before they can do damage. So the more you work out, the more you take long walks or do yoga or Pilates or anything, the better things will feel over time. And now the reason I point that out, it actually leads me right into my stress management plan, is because you have to find the thing that works for you. There are 6 action steps that I take to manage my stress levels, okay? So I wanted to share them with you today, and then I'm gonna share the 3 booster foods that I add. The first thing that I do in the morning is I make breakfast and I drink my coffee with my breakfast while I read a little book. I use my little Kindle. I don't know where, actually it's over there, but it's too far. I use my Kindle and I just read and I just start my day in a peaceful way that is nourishing for me, right? And it's so easy to grab your phone and start scrolling, and I really try to jump right into a book with my coffee and with food. The second action step that I take every day is I really try to hit 10,000 steps a day. When I first heard this idea of 10,000 steps, I thought it was ridiculous. I was like, who cares? And I work out every day, so I was like, I'm fine. But I will tell you, there is something about walking that speaks to my soul. Because if I walk for 10,000 steps a day, every day, for 7 days a week, 7 days in a row, even if I don't do anything else, I feel very zen. And especially after a long walk, like how many of us feel super great after a long walk? It's all of us. And that's something that I've had to discover. You might find that you feel that way after yoga. Whatever it is though, define that thing for you. And for me, definitely 10,000 steps a day is like fundamental. I also meditate for 3 minutes every day. And now I know you were just like, wait, 3 minutes? What? You sure? Here's the thing. I'm kind of a high-strung person. You might have noticed that. And I don't do well with sitting for long periods of time and not talking or moving or thinking. It's just not what I enjoy. That being said, it is very important to quiet the noise, to center oneself. And I find I'll probably increase it over time, but I find that 3 minutes is just enough for me to kind of drop into center at the end of the night. I feel like I've meditated, and I also don't feel like I had to sit there for 15 minutes ready to jump out of my skin. You could do it for a minute if you wanted to. Anything to just help you get centered is perfect. The 4th action step that I take is I do a daily brain dump. And I work through a model. I got this from the life coaching school from Brooke Castillo, and I basically do a big brain dump of everything that's on my mind first thing in the morning. I'll journal for 10 minutes. I'll literally set a timer and I'll just journal for 10 minutes. And then I'll pick out a thought or 2 that I want to adjust. And basically, again, this is all from the life coaching school, but Brooke teaches this kind of cognitive model around how what we think impacts how we feel, impacts our actions, which impacts our results. And a lot of life is being able to determine and or readjust what we think and or believe to create a better life. And so I work through that model every day on something different. And if you want more on that, I can do a whole video on that, but let me know. Again, not me, Brooke Castillo. 5th action step I take is I drink 100 ounces of water a day. I have my little Stanley cup. Again, it's too far away for me to show you right now, but I try to drink at least 3 of those, and then I'll have tea and coffee because I definitely work out every day. I sweat every day, and it's really important to stay hydrated. It'll also deeply impacts your digestion. I personally have always struggled with constipation, and the more water I drink, the better. It's like chef's kiss. The sixth action step that you can take, that's kind of a bonus step that I used to take, I don't take it anymore because I don't need to, but it helps a ton, is that you define a tracking system for your acne. Most likely your skin is not as grumpy as you might think that it is. Now bear with me. That doesn't mean that it's not grumpy. It doesn't mean that it's not happy all the things. But I have a feeling that your skin is probably healthier if and when you've decided on the right action steps than you think, and having objective tracking system is helpful. That usually involves taking pictures once a week and really judging things really specifically and objectively week over week, instead of kind of looking at it every once in a while and freaking out. So define an objective tracking system. Now, there are 3 booster foods that I love to add in from an anti-stress perspective. And there's 2 foods, 1 supplement. And they really help support overall lowering of stress levels in your body. And the first one is Himalayan sea salt. I absolutely love it because it helps in terms of your mineral balance, especially if you're working out or sweating a lot. The other natural item that I love to add into foods is nutritional yeast. It just increases your levels of B vitamins, which most acne sufferers are commonly deficient in. So I love adding in nutritional yeast. And the final herbal item that I recommend, it's not really herbal, it's more a vitamin, is magnesium. I could talk about magnesium all day. I love magnesium. It's a natural muscle relaxer and it helps your digestion. So I take it at night before I go to bed, and it is incredible in terms of supporting me from a digestion perspective. And then also it helps me fall asleep. So I have 3 questions to ask you and for you to ask yourself about your stress management levels, okay? Because I can share all these things, but you have to know you. And the first question I have for you that will help you start to manage your stress a little bit better as it relates to your acne is, when and if you're stressed, just try to become aware of what's going on. Like, check in with yourself and ask yourself, wait, where am I? You could even just ask factually, where am I? What just happened? What's going on? That'll help you start to become aware of what's triggering stress for you. The second action step you can take is to ask yourself when you're calm and happy. For example, I'm super calm and happy around dogs. I know it's like a silly example, but like, next time you're just feeling awesome, if you can remember, start to become aware, like, what am I doing? Where am I? Am I at the park? Am I at yoga? Am I at brunch with friends? Like, where are you? So that you can start to identify your ideal life in a way. And the third action step is that you have to find a time every day, if you can, to stop the noise. And that was my 3-minute meditation. Again, I know it probably sounds ridiculous, but you have to find a time to quiet the noise in your brain. And if you can do that for literally 2 to 4 minutes a day, that is a huge action step. So I hope you like this video on all things stress and acne. Let me know if you have questions, and/or if you feel like you have been struggling a lot with stress in your acne and you just want someone to help you understand how to start to heal your acne naturally from the inside out and manage your stress levels at the same time, I have a natural acne clearing program called the Clear Code, in which we do just that. You can apply via the link below, and basically what happens is we define your root acne triggers, we define a customized action plan for you to start to clear your acne naturally week over week, then we put that plan in place, follow you through the program, and then once your skin is clear, we create your Clear Code, which becomes your clear skin lifestyle plan, which is really designed to keep your skin clear beyond the program, because you don't need a detox, you need a lifestyle of clear skin. And that's what we do in the program. So click the link below to apply there. Thank you so much for watching this video, and make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new one. And if you have a mother, brother, sister, friend, all the people who you know could benefit from this video or want some stress management techniques, please send this over to them. I would love to be this kind of like spark in the darkness for them in terms of natural acne clearing. So I will see you in the next one. Bye.